Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here for tonight's presentation. I'm thrilled that you're here with me, and I promise you a pretty intriguing and powerful presentation for you that you can use almost immediately in your life. So we're going to go in just a second, a couple format changes. This is going to be an interactive presentation with question and answer period and allowing you to interrupt and all that good stuff. But way too many people have signed up, so it's going to be more of a webinar scenario than just a Q&A presentation. So my apologies for that, but I promise you at the end of the presentation, I'll leave you my contact information. Any questions you might have, if you want to get a hold of me, feel free to do that, so you'll have that option as well. So let's get going. Give me a second to go ahead and set this up and get it going for you. And again, this is live. Mistakes are going to happen, and it might not be as smooth as we all would like it to be, but so be it. Not a big deal. Great, there you go, not so bad, huh? So two things to be focusing on when you're making your difference in the world. And one is your purpose. And purpose is really important. There are certain gurus out there that make purpose this huge, complicated thing. It is not. You're probably already serving your purpose on a certain level. You just might not know it. You haven't defined it yet. And then along with that is your purpose is your special gift, by the way, that you want to give to the world. And it's there, and you all have one, right? And it's unique to you, and how you deliver to the world can be unique to you as well. So that's your purpose. Now, your mission is how you deliver your purpose to the world. So it's really practical and pragmatic on how you deliver that to. It's how you're going to do that. So we're going to focus on those two things, but in general, just about everything you do will impact your world and your purpose. It's just good to be clear on what that is. So who's this person? Who am I? Again, my name is Norm. It's Norm Brzezicki. I own a company called Dash Achievements, and I help people create a life, a career, an organization that they're proud of, and that they're very effective in delivering it and making them a much better person based on your own parameters. So I've been delivering programs for people for about 20 years now. And I focus on personal development, professional development, leadership training, and also I do organizational development. So I work on those four areas for sure. And I've been doing it, as I said, about 20 years. And I've worked with a lot of people, probably worked with over 1,000 people in the context of these programs. And I've worked with individuals, small groups, small companies, and I've worked with some big companies. I worked with Coca-Cola and some people from Google. So I've been around the block, and there's a lot of good information here for you. So hang in there. So some recommendations. Having done this for thousands of people, I've got some good ideas on what works for people and what does not work for people. So first of all, this is going to sound strange. Don't believe me. I'm not sharing a dogma with you. This is just me giving you advice on how to try things out, make it work for you, and see what you discover for yourself and how to get better at that. So don't believe me. This isn't about that. It's just about you trying something and me sharing some things that I know with you. Practice honesty with yourself. And that can be hard for a lot of us, right? We live in a world where we've been brainwashed. Our worldview is from where we're growing up, and we've turned some of these things into stories. And it's important to stop and take a good hard look at what you want your life to look like, what difference you want to make, not what your parents think you should make, not what your partners think you should make, not what society or even social media thinks you should do. This is all about you being true to yourself, being free, and delivering your special gift. So have fun. You know, don't confuse seriousness with effectiveness. We all make that mistake, and it's not true. The more fun you're having, the more light you can make things, the quicker and faster things go for you. So be aware of that. Keep an open mind. Some of this information might be new to you. In fact, I'm pretty sure a lot of it will be new to you. So hang in there, keep an open mind. Again, you're not believing me, just take it in, ponder it, maybe get into action over it to see how that works for you. Be mindful of your thoughts and your mindsets. your mindset is something that we'll talk over really soon. It's extremely important. It runs your life. But right now, just be mindful of what you're thinking. So your thoughts, knowing what you're thinking at this point in time, are your thoughts. Just being mindful. Mindsets is a general position you take in the world, an attitude you take in the world, not a bad attitude, just an attitude you have for the world that you've planted your flag on, if you will. Beware of your aha moments. You will have an aha moment or two tonight. Be mindful of it. Write it down if you think about it. If you catch yourself thinking about it, write it down, because that's the first pathway. Your thoughts are a clue as to what mindsets you have. And we're going to, again, go over mindsets really quick. And the first mindset I want to suggest for you tonight, and there'll be a couple of others, is make this presentation an extraordinary event for yourself starting right now. That's a mindset to adopt. It's that easy, and it's not. So you want to just stop and say, okay, I'm going to make this presentation extraordinary for myself, and then try to back that up with action, witnessing when you are not. And so right now you're having thoughts about this already, so be aware of that. So first, a little experiment on you. So let's give this a shot. So I've done this for lots of people. I've done this with thousands of people, and electronically it does work as well. So in a second, I'm going to show you a slide, and I'm just going to ask you to count how many F's you see on the slide. And there's not like 1,000 of them. You don't have to rush. I'll give you some time to do that. But you want to find out count how many F's you have on that slide, and you want to write down how many F's you see. That's all. And again, there's not a ton of them, so I'll give you a few seconds to do it. And there you go. There's your slide. I should be playing the Jeopardy music right now, right? Again, not a ton of them. I'll give you about 5 more seconds on this. And you want to make sure you remember that. So if you want to write it down right now, how many F's you count on this slide, that's always a good thing to do, because we'll be back on this later on this in the presentation. So first thing to know, making a difference in your world makes a difference in your life. It is an amazing way to live. The sky's bluer when you're making a difference. You feel much more alive and engaged. It is incredible. Again, you can't just believe that you got to do it and try it, right? So, but it is a profound way of living, and it just changes everything for you. And again, making a difference in your world, or whatever piece of the world you're trying to fix, makes a difference in your life. And it's an amazing way to live. I promise you that. It brings a whole new level of meaning to your life, a whole new level of meaning. So you will actually start to shift and grow and change the way you see yourself and see your life. And again, you don't have to save the whole world, just your chosen piece of it. And that is your choice. We all have specific areas that we love to work on or fix, or we're passionate about. That's a good clue that that's the arena, that's the direction you want to go in changing the world. And again, it doesn't have to be the whole world, just a small piece of it. And that's totally up to you. And even at the beginning, I would suggest start small, right? Start practicing making a difference in the world. And then as you get good at that and you start seeing how it impacts your life, you might want to start to increase that. And you might want to even look at maybe making a career out of that somehow. But all these things are possibilities. You want to be aware of that, and you want to keep an open mind regarding all that, especially with yourself, right? Especially if you have started having conversations, oh, I can't do that. I can't do this. You can. If I can do it, you can do it. I promise you that. So this is what you will experience when you practice making a difference in the world. And your experience will be yours. It'll be unique, but generally speaking, every time I've worked with people on this level, this is what you will experience. It'll bring a whole new level of meaning to your life. And what that looks like to you, I can't even tell you, right? But you'll know when that shift happens and you start pondering your life and deciding, wait a minute, there is something else in the world. Do you ever stop? We go to work every day. We spend 40 hours there with commuting. It might even be 50, 60 hours. And sometimes it's just not serving you well enough. It's okay to make sure that you're taken care of in your career. So making a difference allows you to have a wonderful life, and you don't waste that time at work, right? You're serving your purpose, you're serving your mission, and you're making a difference. It brings a whole new level of awareness, of intention, and joy, if you will. It will make you understand your importance in the world. And this might be hard for some of you to hear. You are important. You are needed. Especially these days, if we all just focus on saving or improving our little piece of the world, we could solve so many of our issues right now. Look what's going on. It's pretty nasty out there in the world, right? And I feel sorry for young people. They just don't have that sense of purpose. And so they're doing some things that probably aren't good for them. I remember me growing up, if I understood that I had a really important job to do, not a job like going to work, but like, well, I get to do this for the world, it would have changed everything for me. And I had to get there my way, a longer way, but you can get there. I've designed some programs so you don't have to go through 20 years of this to get there. I've got some pretty rapid learning programs that I'll talk about in the end that will help you start serving your purpose again almost immediately, making your difference almost immediately. You will feel more confident. You will feel alive, engaged, and happy. Don't believe me, right? You've got to try these things to experience that. This is experiential learning, meaning you don't really get it till you do it. And so I invite you all to understand that and get into action over some of these things we're going to discuss tonight. You will be inspired and empowered as you tap into your voice and power. You will realize so many crazy new things about yourself, perhaps that you haven't witnessed or known before, that it'll be mind-boggling, if you will. So the key tools to making your difference in the world, number one is self-awareness. Now, we all have some level of self-awareness, but it's important to work on self-awareness. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit as well. You need to explore your sense of purpose and what your purpose might be. And again, that could take some time. It doesn't matter. Just start doing something that you think makes the world a better place. It makes you feel better about yourself. And your mission is how you're going to deliver your purpose. So it's important to find out how you're going to do it, right? It's not just having a purpose and letting it be there. Having a purpose without a mission, it doesn't really do much. Mission is how you're going to accomplish it. You need to have the proper mindset or mindsets. Mindsets are pretty powerful and amazing, and we're going to talk about those in just a short while. You need commitment to get into action. So it's not hard, as I said earlier, but it is a commitment. It's something you want to make part of your life and work on every day, or at least be aware of it and look for opportunities to go ahead and make that difference. And to help you, it's good to have a simple plan. I have plans I call dash plans because they're fast plans, but you can create your own plan. It's good to have a plan so you stay on track and you develop goals and results for yourself. It'll take a little courage. When you start to change, and quite literally for a lot of us, making a difference in the world is a change, it's going to take a little bit of courage, right? Because your mind's going to start talking to you and you might have some old thoughts, et cetera, that you've got to deal with. But I promise you, it's not a huge leap of courage, but you might feel it something. You might feel a little structural tension sometime. So self-awareness. Again, that's honesty with yourself. And again, that is easier said than done. And self-awareness is key to your success. As a matter of fact, Cornell University School of Industrial and Labor Relations in 2010 did a huge study on why some people succeed and others do not. And they found out this particular fact: Self-awareness is the strongest predictor of overall success. So I focus a lot of my work on self-awareness because it's necessary, right? And we're not really taught how to do that. I've got some great processes for you to find out more about yourself. If you're stopping yourself, there's something going on there emotionally or worldview wise, etc. So it's important to be honest with yourself, practice honesty with yourself, and question everything. I would start questioning everything about yourself right now, just because it's a good practice. So your purpose, it's your gift to the world. It's who you want to help, what you want to help, change, inspire, save, improve, or transform. It's your uniqueness. This is your chance to have your voice heard, make your imprint on the world or your small piece of it, and be true to yourself and explore just how amazing you really are as a human being and just how great you can feel about yourself. And you have a unique gift. Some of you might know it already. Some of you are probably doing it without being aware that that's the gift, but it's there for yourself. And we want to explore and work on, okay, what is my purpose? And it's a process, right? It just doesn't happen like that. I guess some people, it happens like that. It didn't happen like that for me. It took me a while to figure it out. It took me a lot of exploration, some meditation, just pondering, what it is I like to do in the world, what makes me feel good, et cetera, et cetera. And eventually it'll come up to you and you'll wordsmith it enough that all of a sudden, ta-da, it'll be there and it'll be, you'll know right off the bat, I promise you. So that combined with your mission is how you can actually start serving the world almost immediately. You can do that, right? You can actually start serving the world right now, but to be really good and effective about that, you need those two components, purpose and mission. So your mission is, how am I going to help serve people and make my difference? How am I going to do it? Is it teaching? Is it helping? Is it empowering? Is it inspiring? It's important to start defining purpose and mission. When I started exploring making my difference, and I really got into digging into what that's all about for me. And it took some thinking, took some thoughts, some self-processing and honesty. And the word I came up with, if I remember the very moment, I remember where I was, it came up with this: I want to help people. That was my first foray into, okay, what are you doing here, Norm? Who are you? What makes you feel good? And I came up with just that. I want to help people. Great. So the next step was, okay, Norm, that's great. Do you want to just help little old ladies across the street? And the answer to that was, no, I will. I would like to do that, but my mission is something bigger than that. And that's how I end up doing what I'm doing today and serving you today. So that's how the process starts and goes. Be aware it's a process. Don't expect instant answers. If instant gratification is what you're looking for, the only way I know to do that is just get into action and making somebody happy, help somebody out, and then keep on exploring what that means and how you want to do more of that in your life. So mindsets. So here's a mime, right? And he's stuck behind this fake wall. That's the imagery I want you to take in here. We all have our fake walls. Everything you did yesterday, will do today, and will do in the future will be determined by your mindsets. They also impact how effective you are at what you do. Mindsets are not right or wrong, they just are. And again, mindsets are not just your thoughts, your mindsets are the positions you take in the world, your biases, your preferences, what you like, what you don't like, what you believe in, etc. And they come from a pretty interesting spot. And they come from your worldview. And your worldview is our experiences of growing up, our brainwashing from our parents and schools, social media, our successes and our failures. And all those things, with all those things, our brain has taken that in and we've come up with stories about ourselves. And we all have stories. And the more you discover your stories, the more you can stop and go, is that real or not? Am I living a lie or not, et cetera? And a lot of us are in many areas. Or if it's not a lie, most stories are based on some sort of data. But what happens, because our brains are by nature wired negatively, we'll put that story in our brain, and over time it grows and grows and grows into this molehill turns into a mountain, and also it turns into truth for us when it might not be true at all. We've just turned it into that. And then what happens, we don't give those up so well because we think that's true, right? And quite honestly, and quite often, they're not true at all. Just a little piece of it might be true. So these are your walls and my walls that we all have. Our stories are walls, and most of the time, they're just not accurate or true, but we treat them as gospel truth, right? And that's the problem we all have. You're going to run against your walls when you start serving your purpose. And making the world a better place, making your difference, you're gonna hit some of those walls, some of those stories, like maybe I'm not worthy, or I can't do that, or I'm not that. And good clues to what your stories are when a sentence about yourself starts off with "I am." I don't know how you finish that sentence, but "I am" whatever that is. That's a story, or it's real. Or I can't, or I don't, or I am not good enough, I am not worthy. All these things are clues that you have a story there that you want to explore where it came from and find out if it's true or not. If not, we're kind of stuck there, right? You're like this mine stuck behind this fake wall, and we all have it. It's the nature of being a human being, so don't feel bad about yourself. We all just have them, but we've not been taught on how to explore these things about ourselves, but they're there and they're real. And the technology or the practices, the skills and the tools I have help you get there. So I'll give you a mindset, another mindset. Be the best version of you. I want to be the best version of you. That's of myself. That's what you should be saying to yourself. And I'll give you a great example. I don't know if you know who this guy is, but he's Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones. And he was asked by Rolling Stone magazine, of all magazines, are we the best rock and roll band in the world? And he stopped and he contemplated. And he said this: some nights, other nights it's some garage band in Cleveland. And I stopped and I took that and I went, oh, that's interesting. So although they probably are the best rock and roll band in the world, they aren't every night. And the difference is, do they have the mindset that night to be the best? Is there the commitment there? Is there the purpose behind that? Is there a mission there? So I've taken that information, that quote alone, and I've actually changed my life with that. And I've changed, again, thousands of people's lives with that quote. So to be the best version of you, there are three key things I focus on. I try to be the best in the world at everything I do. Do I get there? Maybe once in a while I get there, maybe never, but at least the intention is there to be the best in the world at anything I do. Now, that's what I'm doing here tonight. Will I make mistakes? Of course I will. Will it resonate with all of you? Probably not. But all I can control is my effort and my intention to be the best in the world at this tonight. Making my difference in the world makes a difference in my life. That is a mindset to have. It'll keep you on track of making that difference. And again, this doesn't have to be some exhausting, let's save the oceans. It doesn't have to be that unless you're prepared to do that, right? But most of us are not, and most of it takes practice for us to do that. And again, I don't have to save the world, just my chosen piece of it. When you start looking, whenever people hear the word purpose and mission, automatically, for some reason, part of our worldview is we jump to, we have to save the world. Well, it's not the case, right? You don't have to save the world. That's just too overwhelming for most of us, because where do you start, right? That's the hard part. So if you just start practicing saving one little piece of the world, and if you want a piece of your world, that's great. If you want to save the whole world down the road, great. I'd love you to do that, but it's not your responsibility. It's all of our responsibility to take care of our little pieces of the world and do what we can do to make the world a better place. It takes commitment. It takes a position, if you will, a mindset that if I am committed to this. And commitment is one of those words that we throw around a lot, like the word promise. Commitment is actually an action and a result that you will have to have, and you will go to great ends to achieve it. My first experience of learning about commitment was about 1 million years ago when I was 20, and I had moved to Austria to live there. Arrived there with about $200 in my pocket, which wasn't even a lot back then. And I went there to live and work. So I kept on looking for a job. I had an apartment for, enough money for about 2 weeks, or a hotel room for about 2 weeks. And I had just enough money for food. I had a return train trip to London where I had a return airline ticket back home. So, but soon, as you can probably imagine, the money ran out. And I remember, again, exactly where I was at, by this old church in Austria. It's snowing, and I have no money, have a place to stay. And actually, at that point in time, I was having to lift food from grocery stores to eat. Not proud of it, but that's what I had to do. And I remember that moment when I said, okay, Norm, you could go home right now and you'd still be the hero. Norm went to Austria, he tried to live there. How great is that? Or you could just hang in there and commit to staying, have some faith in yourself, and figure it out. I remember at that moment saying, I'm staying. And it was at risk, right? I'm being at risk, but I chose to stay. And not too long after that, I had a job, I had a place to stay. It was just an amazing, amazing event. And I was so proud of myself. And what I learned was the power of commitment. That just when something doesn't look like it's supposed to look, we don't have to run and turn tail or not pursue our dream. You have to hang on there, hang on to that dream, and do your best to make it happen for yourself. Commitment is huge. Without it, it's tough to get anything really amazing done. Takes a little courage. Takes a little courage. That took some courage, right? That took some courage, and I'm so proud I was able to do that, and so thrilled that I was able to do that. So that is my discussion on commitment. It is so deep. So that's why I'm pausing and hesitating. It's so deep and it's so important. When you commit, when you firmly commit, amazing things happen. Sir Edmund Hillary, who was one of the first people to climb Mount McKinley, has this quote. It's a long quote, so I'll give you the first couple sentences of it, because it resonates with me. When you are committed, when you firmly commit, then providence steps in. And all types of people show up to help you. Events occur to help you pursue and commit to your goal. So remember that little experiment I played on you a bit earlier today? So there's that card, and you counted how many F's are on that card. Just if you've forgotten how many you've counted, see what you wrote down, and I'm going to show you how many F's are actually on that card. There are 8 F's on that card. Finished, files, of, scientific, carefully, of. Those are the 8 F's. So what does that mean to you? So this is a small example of mindset and how you attack a problem, or how you approach a problem, or how you decide if a problem is worth your effort or not. So it's a mindset. And this is a small example of how you've tackled this particular experiment. Again, not right or wrong. It doesn't mean much, except this is how you did things in this particular situation. not all situations, but this particular situation. What happens is we get on automatic. And we get so on automatic that we always do our tasks daily without even thinking and just going about our business, quite literally often just to sleep. Now, there's certain benefits to being on automatic, right? So if you're on automatic making your coffee, that's great if your coffee is made well. The problem is it's so easy to get sucked into being on automatic all the time because it seems effortless. But what happens is you're growing and changing, the world's growing and changing. And so if you're not staying on top of that and improving and staying present to the situation, you're on automatic, and next thing you know, things aren't working or things are not working well. So we all have mindsets on different areas. And this mindset, this particular exercise, you had a mindset. Again, no one's going to die, no one's going to go to hell, but that was your mindset. So that's the thing, that's the lesson here, if you will. So that's all I want to present tonight. I mean, it's a lot of stuff there, right? But I didn't want to go into a long dissertation on how to do this. If you are interested in making a difference in the world, making your difference in the world, I have many programs for you. If you would like to explore them, please go to my website, dashachievements.com. On that website, you'll see a number of different programs. I serve different populations. I do personal development programs, and they're all based around achievement and self-awareness. I do programs for college students called Crushing College. And it's, again, about helping young people explore the difference they want to make, which makes them much more effective, makes all of us more effective. I have a program that I'm soon launching for people who are autistic and also have Asperger's syndrome. So that's launching really, really soon. I also have programs for professional development, leadership development, called Leadership in Action. And I've got organizational effectiveness program called Everything Matters. And it's a really powerful, powerful tool. And again, I've worked with big companies, lots of big companies. I'd love to help you out if you choose to need or want some help. And we all need some help. I don't care who you are. I need help. I needed help. I need help. So don't be afraid. Don't hesitate to explore that help, if you will. Please go to my website, dashachievements.com. And if you want to reach out to me, there's a contact button on the front page. Go ahead, send me a note. If you want to set up the time to speak about that, that's great. I'd love to speak with you, get to know you a little bit, to see what you're up to, and perhaps I can be of help to you. Anyway, I thank you for being here. It's been my pleasure. Thanks for putting up with my mistakes and my hesitations, etc. But again, it doesn't matter. I'm just here to serve my purpose. So go have a great life. Go serve your purpose. Go give it a try. I promise you, amazing, amazing things will happen for you. Thank you so much. And best of luck to all of you.